Mr. Leader, you mentioned earlier about giving the American people a voice in these negotiations. Are you saying Republicans in the House were cut out of these negotiations, or
yes.
But
I'm saying it's more than just. I'm saying it's more than just the Republicans in the House. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me what the baseline they agreed to?
No, I'm asking you.
No, I know, but I'm asking you a question as a reporter.
No.
You're an American.
I understand what you're saying, and you're saying that it's not public and people don't understand. I'm just trying to understand if Republicans were able to be in the room or if they were being cut out of this negotiation.
Well, let me be very clear. If you, as a reporter that covers the House of Representatives, is about to pass trillions of dollars and you don't even know what the baseline is yet, and they want to vote on it next week, I don't think it's just us being cut out. I think the American public's being cut out. And if two people who are deciding it aren't going to be held up to the voters, do you feel good about that as an American, not about as a reporter? I don't think anybody in America would feel good about it. Why, if we're going to make a decision on funding government when we have more than a $31 trillion debt, when we spent more than $100 billion in this new fiscal year just on interest alone, we have runaway inflation we haven't seen in 40 years based upon the mismanagement and spending of the Democrats, why would you feel comfortable moving forward that way? I don't think this is a partisan issue. I think this is about saving the country.
75 days since the Democrats were supposed to pass funding for our government, just to keep the lights on. And we are less than 2 weeks away from Christmas, and they're trying to jam through a huge spending bill. Why is that? Because they have spent the last 2 years under one-party Democrat rule in Washington, the White House, the House, and the Senate, spending excess money in their reconciliation packages. In fact, in the first 20 months of President Joe Biden, he has added more than $10 trillion in new spending. That is a record for any president in his first 20 months in the history of the United States. It's also the largest debt increase by any president in his first 20 months in the history of the United States. Last year, they passed an appropriations bill that increased spending 7%. This year, they're trying to pass a huge spending bill that increases it another 9%. If you look at the 10 years before, when we had budget caps from 2011 to 2021, it was an average increase of 2% every year. This spending does not only affect hardworking men and women across this country with the huge inflation tax. In fact, every American has lost roughly 2 months of their salary over the last 2 years because of the Democrats' reckless spending. But we also have a fiscal crisis within our own government. Just this week, Treasury announced that just the first 2 months of this fiscal year cost the United States government an additional $103 billion just to pay interest on the debt, which is an 87% increase than what it was a year ago. We are less than an hour from the Federal Reserve once again raising interest rates. This will be the 7th time since March. When Joe Biden took the oath of office, the Congressional Budget Office projected there would not be an increase to interest rates until the year 2024. But just this year alone, we've seen the highest spike in increases of interest rates in 40 years, and the most combined in the last 15. The last thing we need is a reckless government spending bill that does not have the input of what the voters chose, and that's a Republican House of Representatives.